welcome back to Vic Akers Wonderland. I'm your host Lottie, and today we're diving back into a really packed out January, should we say, for the Arsenal. This month has been full of intense battles on multiple fronts, domestic cuts, ups and downs, and a historic international triumph. But as always, I'm joined by Matt. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I am very tired though, especially after traveling all the way up first thing in the morning to then get literally the last train back and then having barely any sleep before starting work this morning. So yeah, I'm very tired, but
Was it worth it?
oh, you know what? This was worth a lot more than the trip to the when I did the Real Madrid one last year, around this time last. No, actually, it was March last year.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, it was worth doing. Any final or things like that. It's just a bit ashamed about the timings and things like that, but it's worth doing because if it's a final like this, then yes. If it's a final where it was a couple of years ago, you're probably looking at it and going, "Oh, dread going in next day."
Yeah, no, I get that. I completely get that. Well, 25,000 fans turned up to see the Arsenal win the first FIFA Women's Champions Cup with a 3-2 brilliant extra time victory over Brazil's Corinthians at Emirates Stadiums. Big Gabby from the men's team as well as Martinelli were in attendance. As we all know, they're both from Sao Paulo. And it's always great to see them supporting the women, even though if they are supporting the other team. But I think in this case, they were probably supporting both because they had those dreaded half and half scarves. It was a dramatic contest. Arsenal led twice. We were pegged back ultimately. The one and the only, Caitlin Ford scored her second goal of the season, which was the decisive winner in the 104th minute to secure the title. The victory was marked by a major milestone, as we are the first winners of the new global club competition, with FIFA President Gianni Infantino hailing as an important step for women's football. But hey, do we really believe that? We'll think about that. The last night, as we all know, night wasn't without concern as lots of women took out Aneka Borba. She suffered a frightening collision with Lotta, unfortunately. She was stretched off with a neck brace and oxygen and later taken for hospital checks. And I've loved seeing all the Arsenal fans with their supportive messages, even throughout the community as well. I think we need to move on to something a bit more hot news off the pitch. With the significant transfer news, a lot of us are not happy about. I'm not happy about it, to be honest. Long-serving fullback Katie McCabe is expected to leave Arsenal at the end of the season, as her contract is up. Arsenal are looking to rejuvenate the squad with younger talent. It's reported we're looking at Barcelona's owner Batillier as a target replacement, but there's also sources out there saying she doesn't want to come to Arsenal. I mean, if we're replacing Katie McCabe at the tender age of 30 years old, where she's absolutely brilliant and we all love her and we're happy with her, what does that mean for Kim Little? Is she due for the chopping block because of her age? I don't want to be ageist, but this is what I'm taking from what Arsenal was saying.
I think this is one where it was gonna happen, but it's actually there's a lot more to it further down the line. You look at the players that are out of contract at the end of the season. It is let's go back 5 years. So some of the players that were still at the club at this time are around that 30-year-old mark now, or just over it. They're either out of contract or coming out of contract over the next 18 months, and the decision is stick or twist. Kim Little, you would always put down a contract for, no matter what. That has been the case because of she is so unique in the way she plays. I don't want to keep on saying the Santi Cazorla you can't win the ball off from a if you're in the telephone box, even post box. What am I talking about? But I genuinely believe that Kim Little, having now won a Champions League, having now won the a World Cup, essentially, one way of putting it, even though it's not the Club World Cup as people will put it, essentially it is a World Cup. I think she's going to retire at the end of the season. That's been my feeling for a long time.
You said that last year, though. I'm really sorry. You said that last year.
I did, but I think this time it is going to happen. It is going to happen because sooner or later it's going to happen. If you keep on offering her, I think the fact of the matter is that she was offered a 1-year extension, so maybe you might end up getting a player coaching contract, which case it will be, say, a year, and then she slowly gets into the coaching role. Bit similar to Kelly Smith, although Kelly Smith eventually went coaching further down the line. But I can see that happening. Do you want to talk about Kate? Are we going to carry on talking about Katie McCabe and some of the others, or?
I've just let you finish your opinion.
Well, if with Katie McCabe, she does want to carry on playing at the highest level.
She's won everything that's possible here.
Yeah.
Is it time for a new adventure?
I do think that with what's happened with a lot of the Irish players have either played in the WSL or they've gone over to the NWSL. The likes of Denise Sullivan, who's now at Liverpool, she was previously over in the US. So it would be an option for her. But at the same time, I think she would be a brilliant player to have in either the Frauen Bundesliga or Liga F in Spain or Germany. I think there's going to be plenty of interest in there. I think, well, I think people have mentioned that post Chelsea, she was sort of in tears. So maybe she got the news further in the week, and unfortunately the emotions got the better of her. But at least,
but you could also look at it as it's been 8 years coming to beat them in the league. So
yeah,
it could also be that.
Yeah,
you never know. Don't know what goes on behind closed doors at Arsenal. They're very good at keeping secrets, which is annoying.
Yes.
Last bit of internal news, but not so new news. We signed the Swedish right back Smila Holmberg from Hammarby, adding obviously a younger quality player for the defense. She came through Hammarby's academy, made a senior debut at 15 years old, and quickly established herself as a regular, while winning domestic honours in Sweden. And the summer, we also saw her for our first call-up for the Sweden national team. And we all remember that penalty that got us through to the final. Holmberg described the move to Arsenal as a dream step in her career, saying she's excited to develop further and complete trophies in the WSL. I know we all know this is old news, but her debut against Man United, when Man United were down to 10, I believe. What did you think? What have you thought so far?
You know what? She's been very explosive. And I think it's eerily similar to Emily Fox in the way that she's adapted so quickly, in terms of knowing what she's meant to be doing, knowing what role she plays within the team. Bear in mind that she is so young to begin with. So to be able to do that at 19 is huge. And to be even moving over to another country at that sort of age, is talking similar to sort of Kate McCabe, sort of when she was looking at a sort of similar sort of ages. I think there would have been a couple of years between that. I'm not 100% sure. But that's the sort of thing that it's a way to future-proof that right back spot with, and she's a good understudy to Emily Fox as well. So she's learning from one of the best right backs in the world. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to say it now. She is the best right back in the world. And that's not trying to be big-headed or anything like that. I genuinely believe that if you put some of the best wingers in the world, Emily Fox will give them a good run for their money. And if you were to compare her to Lucy Bronze, I think Lucy Bronze just she's slowly losing that pace that she once had, and she's not okay. She's got the trophies to back it up, but at this current moment, Emily Fox is definitely way better than Lucy Bronze at the moment.
I don't
So
know.
Smilla Holmberg has a lot to look up to, a lot to look forward to, and you know what? I think she might even play a little bit further up if needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I can watch her courses in all day long. But it's frustrating. There's no one on the end of them at the moment. So I hope the girls pick that up a bit quickly because we'll be doing set pieces all day long like the men do. An exciting new initiative has launched with Arsenal, which is actually supporter led. It's called Block by Block. It's designed to shape the match day experience at the Emirates as it becomes the team's full-time home for all WSL games. We already know that. If you're a season ticket holder, you'll know that. The project gives the direct voice through consultation sessions, surveys, and creative workshops, allowing them to influence elements such as flags, tifos, music, visual displays that reflect the identity and culture of the Arsenal women. Over 150 supporters have already taken part, working alongside players and members of staff. I think the most recent player to take part was Olivia Smith, with other members of the club's creative community. Ideas are brought to life in sense of large-scale tifos. You might have seen the new flags in the North Bank, obviously matchday playlists, and murals celebrating the long-standing supporters. I've had a look at the one that's in the Clock End. Maria is on the wall, which is amazing to see. There are more sessions planned across this season. The initiative aims to build a strong sense of belonging, strengthen the connection between the team and the fans and supporters, and establish a distinctive fan-driven atmosphere at the Emirates. If you do want to get involved with the workshops or anything, keep an eye on the Arsenal Women's socials to get involved in the workshops. For me, this does. I know a couple of people who are heavily involved in this, and it's, from what I'm hearing, it's going great. But I do have a couple of questions about this. In terms, as much as I love our supporters group, I love everything, it's constantly the same fans that are there. I think Arsenal need to kind of realise that there are more than just one certain group of fans. I'll be honest, Matt. I mean, what do you think of Block by Block?
It's a great idea, a great initiative, and again, Arsenal are leading the way in this. You know what, I look at Goodison Park at the moment, where I wasn't there for their first win at Goodison Park this season, and because I was at this game on Sunday. But you look at it, and it does feel very soulless at the moment. I would like to see them sort of lead the club, the owners get together, the fans get together, and just sort of sit in the middle and just say, look, this is Goodison Park. This is what needs to be. It's almost like Arsenal's the template for the other teams, and this is becoming a running theme across the league, which is great to see. But sometimes you can't be Arsenal. Not having a dig or anything like that. It's owners not understanding the fan needs or the fan dynamics within their own fan base that are supporting the women's teams. They're at the moment. It's a great initiative, a great idea. I do share some of your concerns, because if there's surveys going around, I've been to is it 3 games? Well, 2 WSL games this season, I think, at the Emirates. I haven't had a survey. I don't think you have either, unless it's the general. Tell us what you thought about this experience. I will say that a lot it's improved a lot since last season, and maybe we'll see all everything put together next season come the September.
Absolutely. Oh, well, let's see what these workshops hold, and hopefully be a bit more exciting for the future. But we've had a busy month. Started really frustrating tone as usual, as January's do for the Arsenal. WSL, 10th of January, we hosted Man United. Despite dominating so much of the play, we couldn't find a breakthrough. We did end up drawing with them, which was really annoying. It was a point game, but the title hopes are now already really slim. It underlined how hard points have come by at this stage of the season. Matt, it was a 0-0 draw, frustrating, as I've just said. From your perspective, what stopped us from turning our dominance into goals?
So, would you like the stats answer or would you like the matter
Whichever
answer?
you want to give me.
I'll do the stat.
Whichever. I'll have both.
I'll do the stat answer first. So going back 6 years. No, sorry, from 2021, which was no, sorry, 2022, which is 4 years. Going back 4 years, so Arsenal's first WSL fixture has not been great. The 2022 lost to Bonham 2-0. Effect, yes, I know everyone's got trauma, everyone's panicking. It's all right. Birmingham City are in the Championship at the moment. They might be doing well, but they're in the Championship. You can let
Charlton's win the Championship. You heard it here first.
and then I think the next two was Everton, where we did win 2-1. That was 2023. No, sorry, 2024, 25. 2023 was drawing against Chelsea because Sam Kerr scored the last minute equaliser. Also, Leah Williamson needed to do was follow her player, and Arsenal would have won the game 1-0. That was the game that we the start the Hayes get in your box chant. 2024 was Everton winning 2-0. I think the following season was Crystal Palace. So that would have been 2025, 1 against Crystal Palace. And that would lead to now drawing to Manchester United. 2 wins out of possible 6. It's not good. It's not good numbers. But it just goes to show that you need to carry on this sort of form. You can't just sit back and have a relax in the WSL. If you have time off, you're going to need to get everyone back to fitness, which means you're going to have to play in back to door behind closed doors friendlies to get that competitiveness and the fitness back up as well of the players, because they have had time off. It's going to be shortened next year, whereas there's 14 teams in the league instead of 12. So it was unexpected, but it was just, if you look at the game back, it was very uninspiring, very what's the best way to put it? It was a very panic. What should we do with the ball? Oh, we'll just keep playing, keep the ball, and not. It was instead of patiently waiting for opportunities or playing those 1-2 opportunities, they just played it backwards and sideways.
Yeah, that was really annoying, because I've noticed most of the time we play in triangles. And those triangles were nowhere to be seen. I mean, the boys do it all the time. I'm at the men's as much as I am at the women's. But we couldn't sort of complete those triangles to work our way around Man United.
Yeah, it made it worse by the fact that when Riviera got sent off, I think it's Jade Riviera got sent off.
Yeah, it was.
Just the substitutions weren't adding up. Olivia Smith was having a brilliant time on the wing, and she was running them ragged. And she was the one, and then she takes her off. Why is she taking her off?
Her end project probably wasn't there, and Renee probably wanted to try something different.
I just don't think Renee's mastered the art of the substitution. I think she is a forward thinker. She probably thinks, right, okay, I'm going to sub Olivia Smith off at this time so that she reduces her injuries and things like that. But if game's going where she's the most dangerous player on the field, I want her to keep it up. I want her to keep going. A bit similar to, I think we'll talk about the game later on, but I'll talk about that point later on.
Yeah, no, it's fine. With this one, it depends on how your outlook on life is. Is glass is half full, half empty. Do you see the result as 2 points dropped or a solid point against a direct rival? Out of 6 points for the 2 games, we've both walked away with basically 2 points each.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough. This team should be competing for the title, and because they continue to have those either opportunities or not opportunities of doubt. It's not the best phrasing, but people know what I mean by that. They'll there's a lapse of concentration. The Lucy Parker header again in the corner for the last game against Aston Villa, last minute against Aston Villa, for example, that's 2 points dropped. You look at the game against Man City. You're winning. You're drawing to Man City. You could have either gone for it, but Man City have gone and scored last minute winner with Imam Benny. It's just moments this season are adding up, and it might be a case that yes, City walk away with the league this season, but alternatively, you look at these teams around them. I'm going to put this out there. I don't think Man United are Man United. I don't. They buy all these good players, but they don't know what to do with them. Leah Schürrle is a fantastic striker.
Mm-hmm.
My
argument with that would be Fredolina Rofo. She's having a great season.
She is having a great season, but she's one of those players that because she can play in basically anywhere on that left side, Mark Skinner knows that she, one way or another, she's in that squad from from the 0 minutes to the 90 whatever minute. It's just I think sooner or later, to be honest, when I do look, I'm not trying to be like this jealous sort of guy that they've got these players, they've somehow managed to get themselves into positions where they shouldn't really be. A team that is only 8 years old. I'm going to leave it at that because otherwise it ends up in a huge anti-Man United rant, shall I say.
Got a lot of rants in the locker, haven't it, ain't you, Matt?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Luckily, the last couple of World
Cup. Right. Pushing on to the next game, pushing to the next round of the FA Cup. Arsenal beats Aston Villa on the Sunday, the 18th of January. Back of the fourth round at Meadow Park. Overall, it was a closely fought first half with a few clear chances. We broke the deadlock just after half time. Stina Blackstenius, big game player, opened up the scoring at in the 52nd minute, converting a close range shot after sustained pressure from the one and only captain, fantastic Kimmy Little. 10 minutes later, Kim Little decided to join in the fun and double the lead with an absolutely precise finish following a corner delivery, giving us a comfortable 2-0 lead. From that point on, we controlled everything: the tempo, the tempo, pace, and the ball. Because their possession stats went really down low. I remember looking at it and thinking, "Whoa, Villa have just completely buckled here." Be honest with you, Villa did offer some early resistance, but with their goal, with who was in goal that day? Is it Sabrina?
Ellie Roebuck.
Ellie Roebuck.
She had
she had a black eye. I remember now. Sorry. Ellie Roebuck making several key saves to keep them much longer than the scoreline actually suggested. But Arsenal's quality in the final third eventually told all. Captain Fantastic. We've got to talk about her. Another massive goal. How important is her leadership in games like this?
It helps. It helps. I think the whole midfield that you've got such a I wouldn't even want to call her a general anymore. I don't even know how the ranking of the army is or anything like that. But if she was there, she'd basically she'll be almost higher up, like the head of the army sort of thing. If people know what I'm talking about, she really does. If you do watch her live, she really does marshal that to a T. She gets them going. She G's them up. Sometimes
Do
it
you
might
mean
not be her.
do you mean like a general?
Yeah,
That's they
there
think
we
that's
go.
the highest
See,
rank
I've
on my
forgotten my
one.
words. That's me autism brain for me. I was too busy thinking about the way she does things. It
You don't
isn't.
you don't appreciate Kimmy as much as having the privilege. I will say this is a privilege to watch her,
Yeah,
and
one of
I still can't imagine Arsenal life without her. I really can't.
one of the first things that I actually said to you is watch how Kim Little plays, because
Yeah,
I was sitting there as someone who watching these on the TV. You don't get the full picture. So that first game, ironically, it was at Aston Villa away at Villa Park. That seems to be my happy ground, where
seen as cheating ground.
yeah. Well, oddly enough, she came on as a half-time sub for that one, and we, Arsenal won the game 4-0 that day. And it just
Yeah,
goes to show you, she is so even she is so much. She's a player that you need and that you would have if. But it'd be the same if Barcelona lose Alexia Putellas or Aitana Bonmati, that sort of player that just might not, well, maybe not Bonmati. Actually, you know what? I'll probably say Marion Caldente when she was at Barcelona. She makes things tick that you don't
yeah.
notice.
Well, you could put that on Georgia Stanway before she left City, as well
Yes,
as a prime example. But now is it Hasegawa?
Yuri
Hasegawa has
Hasegawa.
now filled that space. She's got so much better since Stanway left.
Yes, and people are just slowly starting to realise that these players are so vital to the game, um, and it's figuring out how to bring the next generation into it. So again, the Layla Harberts, the Ava Grays, for example,
Mm.
um,
Vic
the
Palovas and Kyras
yes,
as well.
those sort of players. They need these sort of players so that they can learn and realise this is what is going to be football's going to be like for them.
This is what's going to be expected of you, sort of thing.
Yes, yes,
I think I've got one more question about this game. Like thinking about the Man United game before, we're pretending the other ones haven't happened yet. If anyone hasn't noticed, do you think Renee approached this differently, knowing it was a cup tie rather than say a league game?
yes. I think that she is aiming for as many competitions as she can this season. Um, essentially, the first season. Sorry, the interim period. I should really say she was sort of didn't know what to do with herself. She sort of found her feet into the head coach role, shall we say? Um, and this season I think she's allowing herself a little bit of freedom. She wants to play a certain way in the league, but in the cup competition she allows a little bit more freedom. I think you can see that, especially against Aston Villa. She didn't hold back on the reins as much as she usually does, which was great to see. And it's games like that where they're really entertaining to watch, because these players are able to almost be carefree in the way that they play.
Yeah, no, I think for me, in terms of the last few seasons of the January fixtures, I actually really enjoyed that Villa game. There's not a lot of games I get to enjoy in January, apart from possibly one more this month. But well, last month I should say, because it's 2nd of February today when we're recording. All right, cup heartache in the League Cup semi-final exit. Oh, Subway Cup. Not everything went our way. What a surprise. Disappointment the League Cup semi-final, losing 1-0 to Man United, meant another trophy has slipped away, upping the pressure on the league and other international competitions. Do you think squad rotation or selection played a massive role as this game unfolded? Because I was surprised on the level of rotation of this team, especially after we played them a couple of weeks ago.
I think it was okay. The problem was at this time we were only getting to learn about the extent of certain injuries. It was only learning that Chloe Kelly was slowly coming back from her injury. It was apart from Leah Williamson, there was another. I think it's Leah Cadena as well. Was only just slowly coming back as well. Essentially,
Okay.
yeah. There was certainly a couple of injuries, and it was just basically you had a lot of players from the youth setup in basically loads of defenders, one midfielder and one forward on the bench. That was all we were having, and it was a big struggle. I didn't get to watch much of this game. I only managed to watch the last 20 minutes, and it just looked like this. It was just really terrible. I can't put it any other way. Going from the one extreme to a game against Aston Villa, really good, to the game against Man United. This was like they looked so scared to have a shot. It was so weird.
Yeah. I think this game really frustrated me because at one point, I know I've talked about this with you loads off air, but Lotta Wubben-Moy towards the end of the game, she lobbed one of the Man United girls over her shoulder, completely bodied her. The referee goes to card them, Lotta, sorry, not them, cards Lotta, and you got the Arsenal fans shouting cheat, cheat, cheat. I mean, that is the definition of a foul. I'm not. I understand the frustrations for that game because the refereeing decisions were appalling. That is a foul.
Yeah, it was getting silly. But let's look at if you look at compare it to the refereeing decisions that were happening last night. I don't want to call out the referees. I'm not going to say that. It was just
what you mean the Tories do?
It was a totally different, totally different game. But it does seem like some of these calls are very questionable. I think you ended up it's just again the need for decent refereeing, coaching behind them. I'm still again I go back to Sian Massey-Ellis, who's such a icon for women refereeing. She's nowhere near the women's game in terms of anywhere to be seen. It would be nice for her to be like given some sort of role where she can train these referees up, because let's be honest, they need the help. And I keep on saying this over and over again, and I think you keep on saying it over and over again. This is, but when fans are seeing a foul and calling cheat, that just tells you the fans have lost their heads.
Absolutely, I definitely lost my head at that cup final, that's for sure. And League Cup's out the window now. How does that loss shape up our priorities for the rest of the season? Bearing in mind we've already won the Champions Cup already, World Champions Cup. If we hadn't won that yet and we weren't there yet, what would that shape our season up as?
Well, then the priority that would then shift to what's more winnable, the Champions League, the FA Cup, or the WSL. At this moment in time, I would say the FA Cup. And I've been saying for a long time now, that I want another final at Wembley. I want to erase that horrible evening in December.
That was traumatic. That was my first
Yes,
final. That was traumatic. But I will, unfortunately, I will never see Jen Beater and Lotta Wubben-Moy play together again. As much as I love the pair of them to pieces, that performance was appalling.
You never know. Testimonials might be happening soon. You never know.
Maybe we'll see.
But I just it yeah. If things didn't pan out, FA Cup then Champions League, just because you've got Chelsea, Sonia Bonpasta's probably looking at herself, panicking at the moment, thinking, right, I've got to make sure that we get a trophy. So
Yeah.
she's probably going to be looking at FA Cup and Champions League. I don't think with that Chelsea squad, I don't think, again, she got to play. You could potentially play Arsenal in the next round. Now, Arsenal in the Champions League, I'll be interested to see how Rene Schlegers reacts to OH Leuven again.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot tighter than people think, but
No, I
that's
do as
sort of
well.
further
I do
down
as
the
well.
road.
It's going to be really interesting. But speaking of Chelsea, 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. One of the best games of the month. It was the standout performance, standout result of the month. As much as I enjoyed that Villa game, winning at Stamford Bridge is something a little bit special. Goals from Beth Mead and Mariona sealed a huge scalping. And we've kept our fight up to stay in the Champions League qualification places. All I can do is praise this team for the grit, the tactical discipline, and Rene Slegers. I bow down to you. It's one of the best season's best results. I mean, it's the second time in a season they've lost, and it is glorious. And I will sit there and boast because I was the annoying fan seeing it was all quiet at the bridge. It's so quiet. And I absolutely upset someone. And then the bloke behind him took his jacket off and started waving his Arsenal scarf in the air. It was brilliant. While this all was happening, I was sitting behind Stina Blackstone's partner and the Russos, which was awesome. And Giorgio is an absolute gent. I will say that. But how important was the defensive discipline away at Chelsea?
So much so. Not many teams can turn around and say that they've gone away to Stamford Bridge and basically come away with a clean sheet or
Unless
3
you're
points.
Barcelona.
Barcelona. We can't really count Barcelona because Champions League and it's knockout football.
You said not many teams. You didn't specify, so I am going to say run my joke.
Okay. Well, even so, not even Leon have managed a couple of times to get clean sheet. So it just shows you that this is one of the things that have made. I think Everton has shown the pattern. Arsenal has shown the what you need to do if you have the talent. I with what happens at the weekend as well, that was very, very. I've just seen some of the goals. They're very, very funny. Let's just say City have talent. So there's talent, and there's the way that Everton did it, which is to just make sure that you are so defensive disciplined, and you will not win, and you will not lose to Chelsea. So it's one of those that eventually, after all those times you look back over the last couple of years when Chelsea haven't lost and they've managed to win a game 1-0 or 2-0 because they've scored in the last 10 minutes of a game, it's coming back to bite them, and it's coming back to bite them hard. I don't want to say karma is a you-know-what, but if karma was a cookie, the cookie is crumbling.
The cookie would have raisins in it.
Well,
they're the worst kind of cookies. You think you're getting a chocolate chip one and then it turns out to be raisins. Yuck. I am going to go slightly off topic and look at Sonia Bonpasta's Chelsea. Do you think the Emma Hayes bills are falling off the bus?
Most definitely.
I think, for me personally, I think Emma Hayes has set that team up for a year. And she set it up so there's no problems. And no one can get around them, which was the case while she was there. It was irritating. I was on for a hat trick of losses this January, but no more. I think I knew as soon as Sonia Bonpasta started making these making her tweaks, a bit like Arnie Slot at Liverpool. I'm going to mention him with Klopp. As soon as they start making their own changes, the team is kind of unhinged, unbalanced. I don't. Would I say unhinged? Unbalanced. Um, and I don't think Sonia can fix that, if that makes sense.
No, I don't. If you do look at the whole picture, I think there are players there that don't suit Sonia Bompasta. They're players that Emma Hayes has said you need to go to Chelsea, just
Mm.
purely out of either spite for other teams in the WSL, or out of the fact that because she is now the US manager, to say, look, I want you over in England because you're going to get this, this, and this. I'm not going to deny she isn't a good coach because you don't win the WSL that many times.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
but she knows what she's doing. She's setting up the US to know how to play against the Europeans so that when the World Cup happens in a year's time, they get it down in Brazil, they're more familiar with their foes. They're not hoping to have another Lena Hurtig moment, for example. And yeah, I love that you smile every time that's mentioned because it's such a brilliant moment, and that's going to
That's
go
my
down
girl.
in women's football folklore, and it's such a brilliant moment. But it's just one of those things that it happens. So why not do it? Why doesn't someone else turn around to somebody say some of the English players and say, look, go over to the US, make sure that
Yeah.
you poke a couple of holes in their plan a little bit. There's plenty
But
of
I think with that, we love our English players too much. I mean, how would you feel if Alessia Russo decides to back on the leave and goes to the US?
well,
I'd be gutted.
she's been
I
there,
mean,
done
Esme
that, and
Morgan's
got the.
already hopefully picking some holes while she's there. Like, I mean, I'd be devastated.
I'm thinking more of some of the older players, some of these players that potentially might move away because the limelight here is so big.
Mm,
Maybe she might just need, or they might need a fresh challenge just to go and reset themselves.
mm.
And there are players out of contract. I'm not going to mention them because X, Y, Z. But I think there is an opportunity there. But that's too much of a England Lioness talk than a Arsenal talk.
Yeah, there's a reason
Or
why I picked Alessia. I was
yeah,
tempted to pick Leah Williamson. I think if she left and went to the US, it really wouldn't bother me, but I can't see her going anywhere. So I've not
no,
really contemplated that properly.
I don't think Alessia Russo moves to the US, and the reason is 'cause she's been there,
Oh,
done that,
I've
and she's
just
got the
picked her at
T-shirt.
random.
I
I've just
know,
picked her at
you
random.
pick
Don't
it,
shoot
but
me.
I'm not
I know the
trying to
comments
shoot
will be
you.
wrong.
I'm trying to just let people know, the
Yeah,
listeners and everything, that
yeah,
if it's most likely not going to happen.
yeah.
The probability of that happening is probably less than 1%.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. I know that. Don't be silly. Right. Was this Chelsea away game that I loved so much a defining moment and top for our top three Champions League qualifying spaces? For me, I'd say yes because it gives us a kick on. If we can beat Chelsea, we can beat anyone. Unfortunately, we played Man United twice. Won't be playing them again, but we've got a big one coming up on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Could Chelsea be the motivation to go and basically beat City?
Well, bear in mind that Chelsea were the last team to beat Man City. They
Yeah,
are
I know.
due a loss, and um, usually when these games are played, they're played at Meadow Park, and it usually ends up in a crazy incident where Katie McCabe's injured, and then all of a sudden she scores a rocket,
She
or
scores bangers in
or
this fixture, doesn't she?
yes, she does, and it's usually a last gasp winner like a Stina Blackstenius a couple of seasons ago. But I think if you were to put this on, I think, like I said a bit earlier about Manchester United, they're very up and down. You don't know what you're getting with Man United because of the quality of coaching that they're getting. This is basically a top two battle, and I am going to sit back. I'm going to enjoy it because it's going to be end to end. I remember when this was the opening fixture last season at the Emirates. I know you were at the game, You enjoyed it because it was such a good game of football.
Thing is, it was a good game, but it was also a homecoming for a particular player,
Yes.
and I know she will always be loved.
Mm.
So there was a bit more to it. I don't know what it's going to be like this year. I know for certain friends of mine, it will be a bit more homecoming. Because we all know who I'm talking about, Vivian Miedema. Yeah, some of our friends, they are Dashies, and they the love for her as a
Yeah.
player internationally and domestically will never ever change, even though they are hardcore Arsenal fans.
Yes.
Let's get into the last stretch, Champions Cup. This month's been blended with youth and experience, rotating depth in cup international fixtures, while still picking up a couple of crucial results. There's moments of fluid attack and play, especially in the Champions Cup, balanced with gritty defensive days in tougher domestic clashes. However, we have been inconsistent. While our Chelsea win stands out and draws and defensive scrambles hint Arsenal say we're still chasing some sort of rhythm in the WSL. But the Champions Cup turned up and we battered AS far out the door with a 6-0 win. We were 3-0 up in 21 minutes, if I remember correctly, with Mariona Cardenta taking the penalty. It was a stunning attacking firepower and tactical authority during that game. Matt, did you get to see much of this one?
I came back. So I came back, and we were through. The penalty was just. This was a VAR. The VAR was actually given and for the penalty. So I've managed to sit. I missed the first 2 goals. Managed to watch the Mariana Caldente score. It was just influx of entertaining football. I felt so sorry for ASFAR because they basically had to go through playoff after playoff to get to London, and not even London. That had to be Brentford. Not Dick, just saying. It was just Brentford.
Okay, cool.
But yes, to just get knocked out by the European champions, and I don't know if it's the way it's been drawn, but I just didn't like it the way it was done. If I'm honest, it feels a bit
It's
very
got FIFA's
deflating.
dirty grubby mitts all over it.
Yeah, it does fill me with dread because it's just like how come they've come over here, they've travelled so far, it probably cost them an arm and a leg to get over it to begin with the hotels and things, and just to lose 6-0. Okay, yes, it's European champions and you can only play this in front of you, but why not give them why give them the European champions to begin with? Why not? To be honest, between Gotham and Corinthians, I don't know if ASFR would have done as well. They did show against Gotham that they were better defensively, but I don't. Maybe the game against Corinthians would have been a much more tastier affair.
I think that there would have been a bit of somebody would have hit someone. I'm not going to lie, because they were getting frustrated with us, and we were just cool, calm, and collected. But with the way that Corinthians played on Sunday, yeah, there would have been a fist fight. I won't lie. So Sunday, we all turned up to the Emirates. 7,000 fans, or just over, turned up to watch Gotham and ASFR. What did you think of that game? I'm not going to lie. I knew like maybe 2 players, and that was Kate Stengel, Jess Carter, and make that 3, and Katrin Amberger. That was it.
I don't know what happened to Rose Lavelle because she didn't seem to be on the. I don't know if she picked up an injury or something. I think she did actually in that semi-final against Corinthians. She ended up going off, but it was a real shame not to see her play. But I was really, really enthused. There was a couple of players that caught my eye, both from ASFAR and Gotham. Jaden Shaw, who was
Yeah.
playing on the wing. She 20 years old. Let's just say that. And I mean, I was making a lot of comparisons to a certain player, but
Because I know who you're talking about. Nobody else does.
but let's just say that I am going to eat a humble pie later on,
She's red.
because
She's white. She loves her Vegemite.
but yeah, I just Jaden Shaw, just she was such a nice player to sit and watch. I was thinking, wow, she's 20 years old and she's taking on these players like they're nothing, and she was doing the defensive duty as well. She was going back and covering over the halfway line. She actually set up the first goal with her movement. She managed to move at essentially half of the AS far away from I can't remember the goal scorer now. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I can see her shirt number in my head. That's really annoying
Number
me now.
34. I'm sorry, I forget the name. But yeah, essentially because she moves out the way, the striker comes in and she's got lay of the land. She shoots, she scores. And you know what? That's the sort of player I would like to see at Arsenal. If I had to have a list, I did look at
It was Kaya Harper.
Kaya Harper. I knew it was something.
That was the first one.
I knew it was.
And then Jaden also got her penalty before half time.
But yeah, there was some really good. I'm going to get the name wrong. Bazzini. Was it Bazzini? No, the Moroccan player who was the first player at the World Cup to be wearing a hijab.
Oh, that's Benzina.
Benzina.
Nuala Benzina.
She basically played everywhere in defence. I was surprised.
She was absolutely everywhere. I thought it was, for me personally, it was something different in terms of you don't see many UK women football players wear a sports. I think it's called a sporting hijab. And how do I put this politely without saying it wrong? It's something different, and it's. I found it rather cool that she can be herself and still play football.
It's inspiring that next generation.
What she believes. Yeah. So I'm definitely foreseeing more of that over here, but it depends on what talent comes through the academies, or what talent we bring in from outside the UK. So we clinched the title in dramatic style, beating Corinthians 3-2 after an extra time late winner for him. She's red, she's white, she loves the Vegemite. Caitlin Ford.
You're going to mention it.
In front of a just over 25,000 fans crowd. You can see how many people stayed out to watch the City Chelsea game. It was an absolute landmark triumph. We're crowned World Club champions in the sport's newest elite competition. And I think, for me personally, I am going to have a whinge about the referee. She was absolutely awful. I actually got home and checked all the lineups and things. And basically, although Katie gave away a penalty, there was no card given. Somebody help me out here. Somebody help me out where the logic in that happens. The only person in that Arsenal squad that got a yellow card was Mariona Cardente. Surely Katie should have been on a yellow if she's done what she's supposedly done. As soon as I realised that yellow had not been given out and I was adamant of it, it had FIFA's grubby mitts, corrupted little mitts all over it. Like, some of those Corinthian girls could have a couple of Oscars to take home. I'm not going to lie. I can't remember who she was, but she spent more time on the floor than actually playing. And then, I can't remember her name. Who was it? Andressa, number 8. That was it. And she was on the floor. She got checked maybe twice by the med teams, and she still played 104 minutes plus. I mean, you get these referees that are not UK based, and they're just as bad as the UK based ones. You can't even give a yellow card out for something somebody's calls the penalty. I don't get it.
It was genuinely, it just shows you how, again, gone to refereeing, it just shows you how bad the refereeing support network is, I think is the best way to put it. These refs need a lot of help and they're not getting it. I don't understand the logic of it all. You would have thought, let's put this bluntly, and football doesn't happen without a couple of things: players, the coaches, the fans, the referees. People always forget about the referees.
If you remove the fans from football, there is no football. It's just a kick about in park. So I'd rank the fans a bit higher than that. Sorry, Matt.
Well, no, this is in no order, but the referee is usually the last thing people think of.
Absolutely.
I think the problem is, for a long time, the stereotype has been how many. If you were to go to a game of football, you're there. Bear in mind that you're there to support your team. You come away, you have talking. You go down to the pub or whatever afterwards, or go and have a drink or whatever you want. How many times do you go over the refereeing faults of that game? I think that we've seen that VAR has been more of a hindrance.
Yeah, between us, we've done it enough times, but I think this whole not giving... I never want my players to have any cards, but I want the basic rules followed. And I do give it to the ref. She saw straight through the Brazilian play acting, but not completely. Half the time she just left players on the floor. I think we were on attack, and one of the Corinthians girls made Beth kick out the ball. Why?
Yes.
It's our advantage.
And then 2 minutes later,
get the ball back and you kick out.
Another one of their players was down. They had the ball. They just carried on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one rule for us and another rule for Alan. It drives me absolutely bonkers.
The only, apart from time wasting, the only other way I would say that the reason why they were doing it so much is because technically they were in pre-season. But then you look at Gotham. Gotham weren't going down left, right, and centre.
No, they won't. The thing is, Gotham season hasn't started yet, has it? So
no. So essentially, this is their pre-season at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're going to be a bit sluggish. They've had a loads of time off, and I couldn't say that about Arsenal's January, but it's the same every January, and it doesn't make sense to me. But just talk about a couple of goals. Olivia Smith scoring another banger because you turned up. I mean, what a goal!
Maybe I should turn up more often. You know what? This has been like a season of appreciation of Olivia Smith and how much she's gone from being so dependable for Liverpool to being that watch out, she's going to get you. As one way or another. The perfect thing she does for this goal is it's Stina Blackstenius going through on goal. What does Stina Blackstenius do more times than score? She hits it straight at the goalkeeper. So what does Olivia Smith go do? I'm going to follow this in. I'm going to make sure that goes in the back of the net. And I'm going to make sure we're going to be 1-0 up. And it was such a good volley. I think everyone was thinking that, because usually this is one of the issues you usually have with one of the Arsenal wingers or a couple of the Arsenal wingers. They don't follow through. Into that 6-yard box and don't gamble on those opportunities. Olivia Smith does. And Olivia Smith's gamble pays off because of that. Arsenal 1-0 up. And that's what makes it so great. But if I have to say anything, Olivia Smith has had... it's going to be tight for Player of the Season, but I think Olivia Smith is going to be up there.
I think I can agree with that one. Obviously, at the break, we took off Frida we put on Frida for Stina Blackstenius, which a little bit annoyed me because our goal scorer, our winner for the last couple of years has been Stina Blackstenius. But I think taking her off was the right decision, if I'm honest with you, because as soon as after that sort of game, Alessia Russo was denied at close range after Mead found Frida. She flipped the ball backwards to Russo, and before long she didn't manage to find the back of the net for the second time. But the next goal is something special. She's been banging on the door for a header for so bloody long. Emily Fox cross planted firmly in the bottom right by the head of Lotte Wubben-Moy, 2-1 to the Arsenal. I mean, beautiful. Just what we needed.
Yes. The one problem was that Olivia Smith had gone down and everyone was calling for a free kick. I said, I can play the advantage because Foxy's got the ball.
Yeah. We've got the ball. Just like, sorry, Liv, play.
Yeah. While everyone else was celebrating, what people didn't realise, Kim Little's gone over to double check on Olivia Smith to make sure that she's okay.
Someone else was there with her as well.
Yeah, there was a couple. I think Lotte actually did double check on that. It might not have been Lotte.
Yeah, she did. Done a celebration. She ran down the pitch. It was great.
It was just one of those where, again, Kim Little's such one of those characters that she's a great character to have in your team. And you know what, Lotte she is almost like a Gabrielle for Arsenal women. In terms of if there's a set piece, you can bank on her to put her head on it and put it in the back of the net. Is this her second headed goal of the season? I'm sure she scored at least another goal this season with her head.
I'm not 100% sure.
But it's probably been a while, but I'm sure if you look over the couple of years, Lotte has scored most of her goals from her head, apart from the goal against Wolfsburg, which you were there for.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Yes, she's.
Do you know what? I'd forgotten about that. It's amazing how you say, "Oh, this person scored," and you think about it. You go, "I was there," and then you had the whole image just flash through your brain. It's like, "Ooh, that makes me happy."
This is why you like having me on here, isn't it? So I can remind you of these great moments.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We went 3-2 up. A little while later, Marnham flew forward to counter-attack, played it to the left to Caitlin Ford, and she smashed it low and hard past Letitia, which is the Corinthians goalkeeper, 3-2 to the Arsenal. Matt, what flavour humble pie would you like for her second goal of the season?
Well, I think I should probably make it the same one as the donut that I had, which was cherry. Not Vegemite, as the Australians would like. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to talk about the penalty incident. But I've just seen that, and Kate McCabe actually kicks the ball before she kicks the player. Didn't need a VAR interaction. There was actually, I mentioned it when I was at the game. There were times where there was handball and VAR didn't intervene, which was absolutely ridiculous. There was a definite handball in the box, and they cleared, and the VAR for whatever reason decided to clear it. But this goal, it's just very Arsenal. I'm gonna give praise to Frida Marnham as well, because when she came on, she was a bit meh, but as soon as it hit that last sort of 10-20 minutes of the game, she started to come alive. And then in this, to just keep going. The one player because this has happened before, she did actually play it to Caitlin Ford, and Caitlin Ford had an open goal to hit, and she hits the side of the net.
Side netting.
Side netting.
The thing is, I've always said this to you, there's something about Frida Leodson-Mornham and the clock end. There's just something about it, and I know I keep going back to this with that epic curler against was it Mel From's at Bayern Munich?
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's Mel From, the German number 1.
Yeah,
it's just the curler on it, and I've seen her do it so many times at that end, and you're sitting there watching, just hoping for that magic, and like you were seeing glints of it, but it just wasn't there. But her giving that ball to Caitlin Ford was just it's sublime. Keeper didn't know where she was going.
You know what? I know it's going to sound really, really cheesy, but when she runs with the ball, all I'm thinking of, the song "Break My Stride." She's got that in mind. Nobody's going to break my stride. Nobody's going to keep moving. Yeah, that's how. She seems very unstoppable, and this is the Frida Marnham that I want to see. Yeah. She is so brilliant at it. it's just a shame that she goes into her shell quite a lot, and she's not. I don't know what it is. She goes into her shell, and she only gives a 6 out of 10. She's not doing those 8s and 9s.
Yeah.
This, if you were to, obviously you got player of the match against ASY.
Oh, my player of the match is Lotte Moy all day long.
But
All day long
for this one, I would probably put forward against Corinthians Frida Marlin, because she really did decide, right, okay, this is my game. And she
she was given young player of the tournament by Arsene Wenger himself, le professeur. Before we wrap up, Matt, I do want to ask you one more thing. From this game, or this mini tournament, which moments or individual performances do you think defined the final? Because I know you mentioned a couple of people to me, but which ones really, really stand out for you?
So if I look at moments in general, I'm not going to say the winner because it's too easy.
I was hoping you wasn't going to take the easy way out.
I look at it'll be easy. I think the defining moment will be the VAR interaction at the end. I don't know if you caught what I said in the stadium, but as soon as it got to extra time, I just turned around and shouted the Alf Ramsey words: "You've gone and beat them twice. Go and do it again." And that's what they did. So I'm going to say that was probably the VAR interaction was the moment, because of it was unjustly done. It's not a foul. Katie McCabe's kicked the ball, and yes, she's kicked the player, but she's won the ball. The referee was in the right. She had no reason for VAR to interact. But
that was all the banging from the Corinthians players. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But the way they carried on and they swarmed the referee.
It doesn't look like, you can't really see it.
She should have got her cards out.
Yes.
I feel like at that point she'd lost control of the game.
So if you do think
be involved.
If you do think about this, the first goal that Corinthians score is given by the goal line technology. Now, you can't deny that anymore. Okay, fair enough. That one you can give. So effectively, this game should have finished 2-1. It didn't finish 2-1. It finished 3-2. It was a really good game. It was spoiled by moments of, I'm going to say, brattiness. Politely.
So I'd say
brattiness from Corinthians, incompetence from the refereeing stance. But that's where that's probably an experience for themselves to learn, because they need to learn to get hold of a game like this. Unfortunately, in the women's refereeing sort of situation, you don't have a referee who's very authoritative. Like I always forget the Italian referee. Is Coralena, the bald referee that everyone respected. He spoke about 5 or 6 different languages, and it began with a C.
I know who you're talking about. I've got his face in my head, but I can't think of his name.
He's now the head of head of referees, I think.
Is it? Oh, okay.
At FIFA, I think. I'm not too sure, but that's the sort of authoritative figure that you need in women's football as a referee, because you need to be calling out these players. What also was disruptive, again, bratty, going towards the monitor. Why are you going towards the monitor? You should have turned around and said, "No, this is my decision. You're not covering for it. Back away." The lineswomen should have intervened as well. With that.
Lino, yeah,
a lino, whichever one you want to call. Lino is probably the proper term now.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go. Just call him a lino.
Yeah.
Unless you call him a wino, that's a very different story.
Drunk lino on the pitch. That's a wino.
No, that was used a few times, especially the one that was on the far side. Ugh, get in the bin. But we have run over time. This is a bit of an extra long podcast. We haven't been back in a month. We will be back on Monday. We will be a bit more consistent. You can follow the pod at Vic Acres Wonderland on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Lottie_AWC. Matt, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at MattLR28 on all of the above. social match.
Awesome. I think all that I need to say now is make sure you bring the red, bring the noise. We're beating Man City on Sunday. Come on, you Gunners.